To begin, I'd like to invite forward Dr. Thomas G. Walsh, who is President, Universal Peace Federation. He's a teacher, editor, author with areas of specialization as these: interfaith, religion, peace, social harmony, and others. He serves on the International Council of the World Association of NGOs. Please welcome forward Dr. Thomas G. Walsh.
Namaskar. Dr. B.K. Modi, Minister of External Affairs, Khurshid, beloved Holiness Swami Chidananda Saraswati, it's a great privilege and a pleasure to be here. I'm a bit overwhelmed. I'm quite impressed with the preparations and the organization. I know how difficult it is, Dr. Modi, to put together a program like this with such a spectacular venue and well-designed program materials and multimedia presentations. So I truly commend the organizers. I commend the vision that underlies this great undertaking. Dr. Modi, I think you're onto something very, very significant and very important. And certainly our topic today of collaboration is of truly critical importance for the future of our world, indeed of all humanity. So it's my privilege and honor to share a few thoughts with you at this inaugural session on the theme of collaboration. I also commend the topic of focusing on these three great so-called superpowers of India, China, and the United States. If these nations indeed can become leading nations of collaboration and peace, we can really enter a new world order that moves us beyond many of the conflictual patterns of the past. International cooperation is indeed the force of the future. Without collaboration, human development will be limited, and the potential for conflict will always be very high. The progress that humanity has made thus far over millennia is linked to the increase in levels of communication and collaboration. I believe communication, dialogue is a critical prerequisite and component that leads us toward collaboration. At the time of the European Enlightenment, the 17th, 18th centuries in Europe, it was Immanuel Kant who advocated cosmopolitanism, a concept entirely consistent with his overall emphasis on rationality and moral universalism, that there were moral imperatives that were unique to all human beings. This Kantian legacy affirms that the conditions that assure peace, or as we say, perpetual peace, are linked to an increase in three areas. One, the rise of democratic institutions. Number two, international trade. And third, participation in international organizations. And in many ways, the encouragement and promotion and enhancement of these three areas are among the key action steps that I believe we can advocate and I think are inherent in the vision and mission of the Global Citizen Forum. It is often asserted, for example, that democratic nations seldom threaten one another or attack one another. To a large extent, this is true. Insecurity tends to arise from failed states and despotic states prone to hegemonic aspirations. Established democracies are not prone to all-out military aggression toward one another. Likewise, dynamic and productive trade relations between nations create disincentives for conflict, which would only undermine prosperity. Moreover, participation in intergovernmental organizations is an added disincentive to war and an encouragement for peace. On this latter point, we witnessed in the 20th century, and it continues in the 21st, the rise of intergovernmental and economic unions, such as not only the League of Nations and the United Nations, but also SAARC, ASEAN, the EU, NATO, the African Union, the Pacific Island Forum, the OIC, the G20, the World Trade Organization, etc. These developments are evidence of an increase in the spirit of collaboration. Although the incentive for collaboration is not always purely altruistic and idealistic, and is rather often related to self-interest, the overall outcome is of immense benefit to the peoples of the world. In addition to this growing awareness of the need for collaboration among nations, I want to point to three concurrent contemporary trends as well that complement the practice of international collaboration. And here I just want to underscore the importance, first, of transnational trade and commerce. Trade breaks down barriers. From the time of the Silk Road to the rise of online shopping, producers, sellers seek markets, and in the process, collaboration increases. Buyers and sellers know very well that understanding other cultures as markets, as well as learning respect, service to others, courtesy, and collaboration are essential to success in the marketplace. In this way, social capital is increased, and especially trust among peoples. Social capital has been called the glue that makes society function productively and happily. One of the most essential ingredients in social capital is trust. If it is lost or weakened, exchanges of all sorts become complex and dysfunctional. Collaboration declines. A second trend is the rise of transnational civil society organizations, or NGOs. Civil society has a growing presence on the world stage. The voice of the people. NGOs are at play in every community and every nation, promoting awareness, bringing people together, and providing a widespread forum for people-to-people diplomacy and advocacy, and the so-called Track 2 level of diplomacy. The third trend I want to point out is the growing awareness of the need for interfaith dialogue and cooperation. While we often think of the world as organized according to nation states, we also recognize that religions lie at the root of the great civilizations. India is a perfect example, for it is impossible to understand Indian civilization without an appreciation and an understanding of its spiritual and religious roots. Moreover, the religions that underlie civilizations remain alive and active as agents that contribute to collaboration. This remains true even though we recognize that occasional failings of religion or its misguided adherents. So as we even ponder these three nations of India, China, the United States, we can also think of underlying civilizational roots in the spiritual traditions of Hinduism and Buddhism, of Confucianism and Taoism in China, of Judaism, Christianity, and many religions in the West, and particularly in the United States. Hence, the dialogue among religions is a core aspect of the broader dialogue among civilizations and among nations. This has become even more important in the so-called post-Cold War era. So as three action steps, I encourage us to advocate for, promote greater international trade and commerce and collaboration in that area, encourage the rise and growth and enhancement of the role of civil society and the voice of the people through civil society institutions, and thirdly, the rise and advance of interfaith dialogue, mutual respect, and cooperation. International collaboration is of supreme importance to our world, as is interreligious collaboration. The Universal Peace Federation that I represent has consistently advocated for soft power approaches to peace, centering on the voices of faith-based and spiritual NGOs and non-state actors. We have advised the UN to build within its system an interfaith council of religious and spiritual leaders. Collaboration among religions is of paramount importance for peace and prosperity in our world. I commend the Global Citizen Forum for its efforts to promote collaboration, particularly among the USA, China, and India. For the relationship among these three nations is absolutely critical for the future of our world. We see rising tensions in the South China Sea and East China Sea. We know there are border disputes even between the two great nations of India and China. We hope that reason and wisdom will prevail and that collaboration will reign supreme over competition for hegemonic power. Such has been the teaching of great teachers such as Lord Buddha, Ashoka Maurya, Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, and others. If collaboration among nation states, private sector corporations, civil society, and faith-based organizations increases, there is hope that prosperity can be universal. Then globalization can be a process that brings benefits to all peoples. Global citizenship, grounded in the principle of collaboration, is a value that derives from the concepts of transnationalism, and at the same time, it has roots in universal spiritual values concerning human origins and human destiny. In conclusion, I close with a word on education and the significance of imparting these ideals of collaboration and the underlying communication and affirmation of core values through an educational system. I commend the effort to develop a universal core curriculum, the emphasis on MOOCs and the massive online course offerings. I would also call our attention to the role and importance of the family, that the family can be a core instrument of education. We often say within the UPF system that the family is the first school of love, the first school of ethics, and I believe the first school of collaboration. If we build collaborative marriages, collaborative families, this can be a foundation for building a collaborative community and a society and nation. Our school systems should incorporate a curriculum that underscores these principles of international trade, democracy, and interfaith mutual respect, dialogue, cooperation, and understanding. Also, within our religious traditions, we must learn increasingly to teach about other faiths with the greatest respect, appreciation, and admiration. There's been too much of interreligious infighting, and we must go beyond that. So I conclude today with this word on education. I close with much appreciation for Dr. Modi and all those involved in the Global Citizen Forum. I very much look forward to the prospects and possibilities, and I believe very real, practical next steps that can be taken in the relationship between the Universal Peace Federation, which is happy to be a partner in this initiative here in New Delhi, and I hope to have ongoing conversations with the principals of the Global Citizen Forum, particularly Dr. Modi. I thank you for your attention this morning, and once again, I look forward to our deliberations together throughout the course of this day. Thank you for your attention.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Dr. Walsh just said, that family is the first school of ethics. So true, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we have with us the Honorable Union Minister for External Affairs, Shri Salman Khurshid, as our chief guest for the inaugural session. Namaskar, sir. I'd like to welcome you in our midst, and thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here this morning. We also have with us several senior government officials and dignitaries from across the globe. I'd like to make a very special mention of you all and welcome you all once again. Ladies and gentlemen, today at the Global Citizen Forum, Dr. Walsh is all set to present Dr. B.K. Modi with the Ambassador for Peace Award for recognizing his exemplary efforts to help create one world. Please put your hands together in thunderous applause as I welcome forward on stage the true visionary, Dr. B.K. Modi. Ambassador for Peace, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. B.K. Modi at the Global Citizen Forum, New Delhi, 2014. Thank you, Dr. Walsh, for doing the honors.